They both did get into a fight, but other people was involved in the fight too.
Oh, really?
Wait, hold up. They jumped Big U? Oh, cuz.
That clip right there, man, that's exactly what everybody's talking about right now. Big U just got jumped in jail, allegedly by someone tied to Nipsey Hussle. Y'all been hearing the rumors for years. People been linking Big U to Nip's murder, and now it looks like street justice might have finally caught up to him behind bars. But hold up, that ain't even the whole story. Word on the street is that Loose Cannon and Brick Baby got caught up in it too. A lot of wild stuff is going down right now, and honestly, it might all be connected. Let's get into it. So here's the deal. According to multiple sources, Big U, Loose Cannon, and Brick Baby were involved in a straight-up brawl inside a federal jail. This wasn't just some petty scuffle. Nah, this was a full-on yard riot that had the whole facility on lockdown. Real talk, it was that serious. But before we jump into all the gritty details, let me catch y'all up on who these dudes really are, just in case someone's not fully in the loop. Eugene Big U Henley? He's been a big name out in LA for a long time. Used to be a major shot caller in the Rollin' 60s neighborhood Crips before sliding over into the music game. He went from the streets to managing artists, most famously Nipsey Hussle early on. Then boom, in March 2025, Big U gets hit with a massive 43-count federal indictment. We talking murder, racketeering, extortion, fraud, you name it. The feds are saying he was using his non-profit developing options as a cover for straight-up criminal business. That's wild. Now let's talk about Tmaine Loose Cannon Williams. He's a 30-year-old music producer and rapper from South Central LA. Dude used to cook up tracks with Nipsey back in the day, produced joints like Bringing California Back. After Nip got killed in 2019, Loose Cannon said, nah, and stepped from behind the boards to grab the mic himself. He ended up getting swept in the same big Ryko case as Big U this past March. And then there's Jair Brick Baby Mitchell. Some of y'all might know him from the No Jumper podcast, but he's also a rapper and another cat tied in with the Rollin' 60s. Grew up around Crenshaw and Slauson, right where Nipsey came up. He got connections with folks like Kid Ink and Casey Veggies. Now, unlike Big U and Loose Cannon, Brick Baby ain't in for Rico. Instead, he got picked up for being a felon with a firearm, but chilly, he's locked up in the same spot regardless. So when news started floating about a jail fight, a lot of folks thought it was them three going at each other, but nah. According to a YouTube video breaking down what really went down, that ain't it. Turns out it was them against a whole different squad. Big U, Loose Cannon, and Brick Baby actually teamed up and threw down together against another group in the yard. And here's the kicker. Even with all the beef and tension between them, when it came time to throw hands, they put their drama on pause and stood together. Word is they were scrapping with a rival gang, most likely the Bloods. That's how wild it got.
More of a other side against them situation.
Oh, man. Really?
This part right here is real interesting because there's been mad tension between these three, especially between Loose Cannon and Big U. See, Loose Cannon had already thrown out some explosive claims about Big U. He said Big U had knowledge of Nipsey Hussle's murder before it even happened. In a January 2024 interview on the No Jumper podcast with Adam22 and Whack 100, Loose Cannon dropped a straight-up bombshell. He claimed Big U hit him up, saying Nip had been killed before it actually went down. That had people shook for real.
So he FaceTimed me and stuff like that. He was like, Nipsey just got killed. I'm like, sick, so I didn't hear that. So I hang up with him. I called Nipsey and I'm like, Nipsey, what's up? He was like, oh, what's up with it?
Nipsey answered.
Nipsey answered. He answered the phone.
According to Cannon, after that call, he hit up Nipsey directly, and Nip was still alive at the time. But about 30 minutes later, news broke that Nipsey had been killed. That timing had a lot of people side-eyeing the whole situation.
Later, the homies blowing me up like they just killed Nipsey.
This whole situation got even deeper when Cannon suggested that maybe he could have prevented Nipsey's death if Big U had just been straight with him. He implied that Big U might have had some kind of involvement. I probably could have stopped it, Cannon reportedly said, showing he truly believed that if Big U had spoken up, things might have gone differently, but he didn't stop there. Cannon claimed Big U and Nipsey had major tension between them, so bad that it led to a physical altercation. According to him, that fight ended with Nip's brother Black Sam getting locked up for firing a gun. Cannon tied that incident to a diss track Nipsey supposedly made aimed at Big U, saying it all showed just how bad their relationship had gotten. Big U wasn't about to let that slide. In March 2024, he hit No Jumper with a cease and desist letter, flat out denying the claims and demanding they stop spreading them. But then it got even messier. Cannon's own twin brother, Jermaine Williams, showed up on the Streets and Scholars podcast that same year and dropped his own bomb. He said that alleged phone call from Big U never even happened. He straight straight up called his brother a liar, not just about the Nipsey situation, but also about his marriage and his music career. That seriously shook Cannon's credibility. So yeah, the beef between Loose Cannon and Big U was heavy, but when it came down to it inside that jail, they put all that history to the side and stood together. One of the wildest parts? The fight wasn't even a one-time thing. According to that YouTube video, it started out in the yard, but didn't stop there. Even after they got thrown into solitary, what they call the hole, they kept going. That just shows how deep the hate ran between those two sides.
That's deep right there.
I think the feds set that up because they want them to all be friends. It's kumbaya. I don't know. I told him, I said, you better shut. I don't care if you fought with you or not. I don't care.
The fight reportedly involved 7 individuals on the side of Brick Baby, Loose Cannon, and Big U, going up against 9 others. This wasn't some push and shove type of deal. Nah, it was a full-on brawl. Real physical, real violent. It got so out of hand the facility went into total lockdown. Inmates couldn't even get back out to the yard. What's especially wild is that both Brick Baby and Loose Cannon had bail hearings lined up right after the fight. Getting into a prison scrap right before your bail hearing? That's about the dumbest move you could make if you're trying to convince a judge to let you walk. It screams lack of self-control and tells prosecutors exactly what they want to hear. You're a danger to the community. Now, some folks have speculated that injuries from the fight could actually help their case. Maybe paint them as the victims instead of the aggressors. But let's be clear, there haven't been any confirmed reports of injuries so far. It's also important to point out that the fight involving Big U, Loose Cannon, and Brick Baby going up against the rival group is separate from another issue that went down between Loose Cannon and Brick Baby themselves. According to reports, the two had a dispute in their module or cell, and Loose Cannon allegedly confronted Brick Baby directly. That situation got tense enough that they had to be separated for a bit. Brick Baby was moved to another nearby cell, but chilly, they reportedly squashed it not long after. Word is, they're back on good terms now. This whole thing really shows the messy, high-stakes politics going on inside federal lockup, especially when it involves high-profile gang members. Despite all the drama and serious accusations thrown around before, the fact that Loose Cannon, Big U, and Brick Baby stood shoulder to shoulder against a rival gang says a lot about how deep that gang code runs behind bars. The Rollin' 60s Crips and the Bloods have been at war since the 1970s. Their beef has been fueled by territorial disputes, battles over drug money, and straight-up gang pride. That rivalry's left a trail of violence for decades. Inside jails and prisons, those affiliations become even more serious because your gang might be your only protection. So yeah, the fact that Big U, who used to be a top dog in the Rollin' 60s, linked up with Brick Baby and Loose Cannon to go against Bloods members fits right into that long-standing Crip Blood war. But what really makes this situation wild is the personal beef. Loose Cannon had been accusing Big U of knowing about Nipsey Hussle's murder before it even happened. And yet, even with that tension and those serious claims hanging in the air, they still came together and fought on the same side. That says something about gang loyalty. It runs real deep in prison no matter the personal drama. The Bloods-Crips rivalry isn't just history, it's still real today. Just look back at incidents like the 2015 fight at Otis Bantam Correctional Center in New York, where Bobby Shmurda got caught up in gang violence while locked up. It's the same kind of energy we're seeing here. Now, what happens after all this could be major. Big U's already in the hottest water, facing heavy charges like murder and racketeering. This fight might just pile more legal pressure on him. As for Brick Baby and Loose Cannon, that courtroom could go either way depending on how their roles in the fight are presented. If they're seen as victims, maybe it helps. If not, it could blow their bail chances completely. This beef between these dudes goes way deeper than people think, and all of it ties back to the tragic death of Nipsey Hussle. To really understand how wild things got in that jail, y'all gotta take it back to the streets of Crenshaw, and that complicated history between Nipsey, Big U, and everyone tied to them. The Nipsey Hussle connection. Nipsey Hussle was murdered on March 31st, 2019, outside his Marathon clothing store in South Central LA. He was gunned down by Eric Holder Jr., who was later convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to 60 years to life in February 2023. The motive, according to court findings, was that Nipsey had mentioned snitching rumors to Holder, one of the worst accusations you can get hit with in gang life. Eric Holder Jr., known in the streets as Shitty C and trying to get his rap career off the ground, was also a Rollin' 60s Crip, just like Nip. According to court documents, Holder and Nipsey had a short convo in the parking lot that day. Witnesses said it was calm, but whatever Nip said hit a nerve. One big misconception that Big U has tried to clear up is the timeline of what happened that day. People say Holder left the scene, changed clothes, came back, and then carried out a planned hit. But Big U claims that's not how it went down.
I never left.
Wait, what they say went to the car?
No, sir. See, and that's where people get it messed up, and that's where it get convoluted. They had words.
According to Big U, after that first conversation with Nipsey, Eric Holder didn't actually leave the area like folks have been saying. Instead, he walked over to Master Burgers, a nearby spot, and ordered some food. Security cameras caught him in there acting real off, shirtless, looking mentally unstable, just not right. Big U says Holder was clearly disturbed, sitting there in public like he wasn't all there. After eating, Holder went back and carried out the shooting. That version completely goes against the popular story that Holder left the scene, changed clothes, and came back just to execute a planned hit on Nipsey.
He went into Master Burgers and ordered a burger. Ordered a burger after they had words and sat in there on camera, walking around. And you can see the derangements in his head. He sat in there with his shirt off, then walked out. So he didn't leave like they make you think he had words with.
This detail matters a lot because it raises the question of whether Nipsey's murder was a premeditated hit or just a personal beef that got out of hand. Big U argues that Holder's behavior, getting into a public argument, sticking around the area, ordering food, and even having his girlfriend nearby, doesn't line up with how someone would act if they were planning a calculated assassination. It just doesn't add up.
Also, something else that didn't make sense to me, the hit didn't make sense to me because who takes this girl on a hit? And who goes, if you're going to go do a hit, if it is a hit, you're going to go do a hit.
But this is where Loose Cannon's explosive allegations come into play. On a January 2024 episode of the No Jumper podcast, Loose Cannon claimed that Big U called him saying Nipsey had been killed before the murder even happened. Cannon says he immediately called Nipsey, and Nip picked up. Then, about 30 minutes later, news broke that Nipsey had been shot and killed. That timing right there is what made his claim so crazy.
But he FaceTimed me and stuff like that. He was like, Nipsey just got killed. I'm like, 6 I didn't hear that. So I hang up with him. I called Nipsey, and I'm like, Nipsey, what's up? He was like, oh, what's up with it?
Nipsey answered.
Nipsey answered. He answered the phone. And I was like, I love you, cuz, or whatever like that.
Did you tell him the call you just got? Or you didn't even mention it?
I didn't mention it. And that's what fucked me up, because my cousin is Nipsey baby mama. You get what I'm saying? So it was like, I could have probably stopped it. All right.
Cannon went even further, breaking down the actual shooting. He claimed that Holder, also known as Shitty, didn't just shoot Nipsey once and run. According to Cannon, Holder came back multiple times, first shooting Nipsey, then running off into an alley, only to return and shoot him again. Then, unbelievably, he came back a third time. Cannon suggested that knowing about the murder before it happened points to something deeper, possibly a larger conspiracy behind the whole thing.
You get off the phone with Nip, he get killed.
Yeah, I got it.
So you think he hit you a little too early?
Yep, he hit me a little bit too early.
Adding another layer to the story, Cannon confirmed there was a physical altercation between Nipsey and Holder about a week before the murder. He pointed out that there was a big size difference between the two. Nipsey stood around 6 feet 4 inches or 6 feet 5 inches, while Holder was only about 5 feet 5 inches or 5 feet 6 inches and way smaller in build. Cannon said the fight was tied to snitching allegations, possibly involving police, and that tension had already been brewing between them because of it.
Yep, he hit me a little bit too early because the homie Shitty double back 3 times. You hear what I'm saying? And first he shot him, boom, go into the alley, came back and shot him, boom.
Loose Cannon's allegations suggesting that Big U had prior knowledge of Nipsey's murder are no joke. He basically implied that Big U was either involved in or aware of a plan to take Nip out. But it's important to keep in mind, Big U has strongly denied all of that. He even sent a cease and desist letter to No Jumper, demanding they stop pushing those claims. And to make matters more complicated, Cannon's own twin brother, Jermaine Williams, went on the Streets and Scholars podcast in 2024 and said that phone call from Big U never even happened. He straight up accused his brother of making it all up, not just the call, but other parts of his story too. Cannon's not the only one pointing fingers though. Other people have made similar accusations against Big U in connection to Nipsey's murder. One of the most vocal is SKG, a former death row artist whose name stands for Suge Night Girl. She's been loud about her belief that Big U was involved and has accused him of orchestrating the whole thing.
At the end of the day, it's like Nipsey beat him up. Nipsey is what's like 6'4", 6'5". Shitty is like 5'5", 5'6". You get what I'm saying? Like frail. Like he get hot.
So there was already some friction there.
Yeah, it was already friction because of like some police telling shit.
In a March 2025 interview with TMZ following Big U's arrest on RICO charges,
talk about Big U, that he was involved in Nipsey Hussle's death. I mean, have you seen any proof that would confirm that?
For me being over and growing up in that area, I'm going to tell you guys this. He definitely has something to do with that.
Wow.
And justice for Nipsey.
SKG didn't hold back. She actually celebrated his incarceration and straight up accused him of being involved in Nipsey's death. She said justice for Nipsey was finally on the way and that the public would be shocked once the full truth came out about Big U's alleged role in the murder. According to her, people have no idea just how deep it really goes. SKG alleged that Big U was jealous of Nipsey and claimed both she and Nip had been through similar negative experiences with him. She shared a personal story where she said she was lured to Nipsey's shop only to be allegedly assaulted by Big U while she was pregnant. According to her, Nipsey and his homie Fats set her up for the beating. SKG also spoke on a long history of drama with Big U, including a time he disrupted a business meeting at her job after finding out she was moving funding for a community project away from his organization. She painted Big U as a violent and vindictive dude who, in her words, terrorized her and others in the neighborhood. Still, it's important to keep it real. Just like Loose Cannon's claims, none of SKG's allegations have been proven. Big U has consistently denied having anything to do with Nipsey's murder. And at the end of the day, Eric Holder has already been convicted as the one and only shooter. So far, no official investigation or court document has tied Big U to the killing. These accusations mainly live on podcasts, in interviews, and all over social media. Back in a 2021 interview on Drink Champs, Big U addressed all the rumors about him being involved in Nipsey's death. He said straight up, "We ain't got no beef," period. He explained that he and Nipsey had a solid relationship and stayed in touch up until Nipsey signed with Atlantic Records. Big U even brought up how he appeared in Nipsey's Ain't No Rappin' As video and promoted Victory Lap on social media as proof they weren't on bad terms. He called out the conspiracy theorists too, saying, "How you gonna have that and got a man in jail and be like, oh, it's a conspiracy?" The history between Big U and Nipsey is complicated. They had a business relationship. Big U signed Nipsey to his label Unique Music and co-managed him with Steve Lobel. Big U's industry connects helped push Nip's All Money In brand from being local to going global. And when Nipsey landed his major deal with Atlantic, he reportedly called Big U to get involved, showing he still trusted his expertise. That said, things did get tense. One major incident happened back in 2011 near Crenshaw and Slauson. According to folks in the community, Nipsey and Big U got into a physical altercation over concerns about Nip's daughter, Imani, and her living conditions. Her mom, Tanisha Foster, is rumored to be related to Big U by marriage. The situation got so heated that Nip's brother, Black Sam, ended up firing a warning shot, bringing the LAPD into it. 5 people, including Nipsey, Big U, and Black Sam, were taken into custody but got released the next day. Big U later said the whole thing had nothing to do with music or money. He chalked it up to gang and politics and called it a personal matter. Despite that drama, they seemed to patch things up by late 2016. Big U even went on the Victory Lap promo tour as Nipsey's road manager. Still, some industry insiders have raised eyebrows about Nipsey's original contract with Unique Music, a 10-year deal with a 50-50 management split between Big U and Steve Lobel. Critics say it could have been predatory, claiming it was a conflict of interest for Big U to manage an artist signed to his own label. But there's no clear evidence that Nipsey felt exploited, and their continued partnership suggests things stayed professional. So yeah, the truth about Nipsey and Big U's relationship and the whole situation around Nipsey's death is tangled and hard to pin down. Eric Holder's been convicted, but Loose Cannon and SKG's accusations keep circling online, throwing shade at Big U's name. Like a lot of stories in hip-hop and street life, this one's layered with personal beefs, gang politics, and the blurred lines between the game and the industry. That jail fight between Big U, Loose Cannon, Brick Baby, and their rivals didn't just rattle the prison, it sent shockwaves through the whole hip-hop scene. The deeper meaning of that brawl goes way beyond fists flying in the yard. It's tied to gang loyalty, the legacy of Nipsey Hussle, and the legal pressure these men are all facing, the ripple effects, and what comes next. This incident really shows how strong gang affiliations stay, even for big names in the industry. Despite all the heavy accusations Loose Cannon made about Big U and Nipsey's murder, when it came down to facing off with rival gang members, they stood together as Crips. That kind of unity, even between people with serious personal beef, proves how deep gang ties run behind bars. The Rollin' 60s neighborhood Crips are one of the biggest and most influential gangs in Los Angeles. They've been around since 1976 and had an estimated 1,600 members members as of 2004. They cover a huge area in South LA from Slauson to Florence between Western and Crenshaw. Nipsey, Eric Holder, Big U, Loose Cannon, and Brick Baby were all tied to the Rollin' 60s. What makes this jail fight especially serious is that it wasn't just some in-house tension. It went down between Crips and what are believed to be Bloods members. That Bloods versus Crips rivalry goes way back, one of the oldest and deadliest in American gang history. It started as neighborhood protection in the 70s, but turned into brutal wars over turf, drugs, and respect. By 2014, over 20,000 deaths were linked to gang wars like this. Inside prisons, that beef doesn't fade. It gets worse. Inmates lean on their gang for safety, and when a fight breaks out, it's usually gang on gang. The fact that this brawl kept going even in solitary confinement shows just how real the hate runs. Legally, this couldn't have come at a worse time for Brick Baby and Loose Cannon. They were reportedly about to have bail hearings when this fight popped off. Jail violence never helps when you're trying to convince a judge you're not a threat. Depending on how this gets spun in court, it could kill their shot at release. Big U, on the other hand, is already buried under major charges. Murder, racketeering, all that. This fight might just be another line on his rap sheet, but it could still hurt him inside. More disciplinary action, possibly even used against him if he's convicted and faces sentencing. The whole incident also raises questions about security inside federal lockups. If known gang rivals are still getting into it in solitary, how tight are these protocols really? That's something prison officials might need to take a hard look at. And finally, this brawl adds fuel to the fire of speculation around Big U's alleged role in Nipsey's death. Even though Eric Holder's been convicted, Loose Cannon and SKG keep talking. That March 2025 arrest video where Big U name-dropped Whack 100, Loose Cannon, and others, calling out the internet as a reason for his downfall, shows he believes the online noise might have brought heat his way.
Describe you as a rival, basically almost somebody that they might be looking to their damn self. So it doesn't look like, but I will say some of what you may have done may have helped with the timing, right? I think you,
What's that?
I think you tipping off Big U. I think that definitely
I
helped
did
with the
what?
timing. I think you going online and saying that, and the only reason I'm saying this is that if you ever read any federal indictment,
I did what? I tipped him off.